No, I couldn't think of it, he said, looking quite alarmed. Now the rat trap seller is quite alarmed, quite worried. If he goes to the comrade house, he would be in trouble. So he said no. He thought of the 30 kroner. To go up to the manor house would be like throwing himself voluntarily into the lion's den. Now, when the iron master requesting him to go to his home, now the rat trap seller is thinking about the 30 kroner he had stolen from the crofter, old crofter. So to go up to the manor house would be real trouble. It is just like, he stated that, it is just like throwing himself into the lion's mouth or lion's den. He only wanted a chance to sleep here in the forest. Only thing he wanted is a night stay there, a permission to stay or spend the night over there, and then sneak away. Sneak away means run away, and then sneak away as inconspicuously as possible, means without coming to notice. He would leave the place. The iron master assumed that he felt embarrassed because of his miserable clothing. Now the iron master thought that he is denying all because of his poor clothing. Please don't think that I have such a fine home that you cannot show yourself there. So he told that don't think like that you are wearing poor clothes, that you would be not fit in my fine home. Don't think like that. He said, Elizabeth is dead. His wife Elizabeth is no more, as you may already have heard. My boys are abroad, and there is no one at home except my oldest daughter and myself. So he stated that his wife Elizabeth is already dead. His son, his boys are in abroad, and only he and his daughter, the oldest daughter, is there in his home. We are just saying that it was too bad we didn't have any company for Christmas. Last Christmas was really bad, as they got no member, nobody or no guest at that special moment. So it was really bad. Now come along with me and help us make a Christmas food disappear a little faster. And in a humorous way he spoke that come with us, come with me to our home and have that Christmas food disappear as quick as possible. But the stranger said no and again no, and the iron master saw that he must give in. Give in means surrender. So whatever times he requested, the rat trap seller replied no and no and no again and again. Now the iron master thought he should surrender. He shouldn't ask him further. He shouldn't ask him more, as he is going to reply no only. It looks as though Captain Bonestell preferred to stay with you tonight, Stenstorm, he said to the master smith, and turned on his heel. And he looked towards the blacksmith, master blacksmith, and spoke to him that Stenstorm, his name. Blacksmith, he likes to stay with you. He likes to spend this night with you here. That is the reason he is replying no. But he laughed to himself as he went away, and the blacksmith, who knew him, understood very well that he had not said his last word. So when he left that particular place, that time he laughed to himself. The iron master laughed to himself, and in the other hand, the master blacksmith knew that he had not said his last word. The iron master hasn't said his last word. He is not accepted his failure. it was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and after half an hour they heard the sound of carriage cart carrying luggage. So it was not more than half an hour before they heard the sound of carriage wheels outside the forge, and a new guest came in, and this time a new guest came in. But this time it was not the ironmaster, but someone else. He had sent his daughter. This time the ironmaster has sent his daughter. Apparently means obviously. Apparently hoping that she would have better powers of persuasion than he himself. Persuasion, convincing. So the ironmaster thought that his daughter has better convincing power than him. So he sent his daughter this time. She entered, followed by a valet. Valet means attendant. So she came with his attendant, with her attendant, carrying on his arm a big fur coat, and the attendant was carrying a big fur coat. She was not at all pretty. That daughter of ironmaster was not that much pretty, but seemed modest and quite shy. Modest, simple, and quite shy kind of girl. In the forge, everything was just as it had been early in the evening. So everything was there as usual in the forge in the evening. The way it was looking like of this, what was the situation in the evening. Now it is same when daughter of ironmaster reached in the night. The master blacksmith and his apprentice means trainee, assistant, still sat on their bench. The master blacksmith and his attendant were still sitting on the bench, and iron and charcoal still glowed in the furnace in the same manner. The stranger had stretched himself out on the floor and lay with a piece of pig iron under his head and his head pulled down over his eyes. And he stretched himself over there on the floor and he was sleeping. His head, round head, was placed over his eyes. As soon as the young girl caught sight of him means saw him. As soon as the young girl saw him, she went up and lifted his head. Straight away, she went to the red trap seller and lifted his head from his eyes. He jumped up abruptly. Abruptly means suddenly. The red trap seller jumped suddenly and seemed to be quite frightened and found to be frightened, fearful. My name is Edla Wilmanson, she said the young girl. The young girl said that her name is Edla Wilmanson. My father came home and said that you wanted to sleep here in the forge tonight. So my father, the girl said that my father came home and told that you wanted to sleep here in the forge, in the mill, and then I asked permission to come and bring you home to us. And then I asked to my father and give permission so that I would go and talk to you. I'm so sorry, Captain, that you are having such a hard time. I'm really sorry, Captain, that you had a very bad time, very hard time in your past, said Edla Wilmanson to the red trap seller. She looked at him compassionately. Compassionately means showing sympathy. She looked at him compassionately with her heavy eyes, and then she noticed that the man was afraid. And then she noticed that the red trap seller was looking afraid. Either he has stolen something or else he has escaped from jail. She thought he might be afraid, all because of either he had stolen something, he might have stolen something, or he had escaped from jail. And then added quickly, "You may be sure, Captain, that you will be allowed to leave us just as freely as you come. So don't worry, you red trap seller, Captain, don't worry, that the way you are coming with us in the same manner, at any time you want, you can leave us. Only please stay with us over Christmas Eve. Only stay with us in this Christmas holiday, Christmas Eve." She said this in such a friendly manner that the red trap peddler must have felt confidence in her. The manner she tried to convince him, he felt confidence, and replied, "It would never have occurred to me that you would bother with me yourself, miss," he said. The red trap seller said that, "Okay, madam, I don't want to bother, but my presence would not bother you. I will come at once. I'll come with you at once." He accepted the fur coat which the valet, the attendant, handed him with a deep bow, threw it over his legs, and followed the young lady out to the carriage. So he accepted the fur coat brought by Edla, and the attendant handed over to him, and he followed the young lady towards the carriage without granting the astonished blacksmith so much as glance. So Edla Williamson didn't pay any attention towards the blacksmith, whatever he wanted to speak, without granting the astonished blacksmith so much at a glance. But while he was riding up to the manor house, he had evil forebodings. Now, forebodings means foretelling difficulties to come, means thinking about the future, that something bad is going to happen. So when he was entering the manor's house, he thought of that he is going to face danger in the future. "Why the devil did I take that fellow's money?" Now he is thinking about that stolen money. He had stolen from the old crofter. Now he is thinking about and really sorry about why he had stolen that kroner from that man. "Now I am sitting in the trap and will never get out of it." And now he has been trapped all because of that. He has been trapped and there is no way to undo, or there is no way to get out of the trouble. The next day was Christmas Eve, and when the ironmaster came into the dining room for breakfast, he probably thought with satisfaction of his old regimental comrade whom he had run across so unexpectedly. So now this time, when in the morning the ironmaster came down to the dining hall and found the peddler, he was really happy that he was not expecting that the peddler would be here with them in this Christmas Eve. But it was Edla Williamson who convinced him and brought him to their house. "First of all, we must see to it that he gets a little flesh on his bones," he said to his daughter. The ironmaster said to his daughter Edla that first of all, let him get some flesh on his bone, as he is very slim. Who was busy at the table. Edla was busy at the table, and that time ironmaster came and started talking. "And then we must see that he gets something else to do than run around the country selling the red traps." So after that, when he gets some flesh on his body, then we would think about what he would do else, something else to do than to run around the country selling rat traps. He would do something else than selling rat traps, visiting here and there and selling rat traps.